Hello everybody, we are continuing on with our Champions Cup series, and today we're talking about the 1925-26 season where a certain team won a Stanley Cup. We'll talk about that team and how this all went down. Now before we start, I wanted to say please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new to me, new to hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you here along the way as I try to do this as a career. Now, having said that, let's get into it. And this is going to be talking about the 9th NHL season. And this was another season that we saw the league expand. And this was them going from 6 teams to 7 teams. And even though there was one new club, we actually saw 2 new clubs, if that makes any sense. The Hamilton Tigers organizational drama from last season, if you want to check out that video, you can. Basically filtered over from there and spilled over to make it another mess. So they ended up moving them to New York, kind of. They ended up dropping Hamilton. So New York basically got a team and they were able to sign Hamilton's players. So we got to see the first team ever in New York, the New York Americans in the NHL. And of course they signed multiple Hamilton players. As for the new expansion team, it was based in Pittsburgh, and they would ironically be named the Pirates. So for them, they are the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't exactly know if the baseball team was named before them. Used to be a really big baseball guy, not so much anymore. But if somebody wants to comment to let me know which team came first, I'd love to hear. As back to this video, the schedule expanded yet again from a 30-game season to 36 games. It was just 24 games 2 seasons prior, and I've been going through the standings every year of this season review, and I will say with us getting more and more teams, I'm probably just going to put up the standings right up here, not to bore you, just because as we get more and more teams, we don't want to go through every single team. I think we'd lose a lot of people that way. So yeah, there's the standings. So there you go. Notably, Ottawa was top of the league again, and the new Pirate squad avoided a bad first season. The Bruins had a nice rise compared to the bottom place finish they had the season prior. And the Canadians, who won the Stanley Cup, or the NHL Championship, I should say, just last season, were dead last. So that was kind of interesting there. The league's top scorer was Neil Stewart of the Montreal Maroons in their second year, as he tallied 34 goals and 8 assists for 42 points in 36 games played. And as for the Hart Trophy winner, it was also Stewart in his first season in the NHL. Not too bad of a start to your NHL career. As for the NHL playoffs, the semifinal saw the Montreal Maroons take on the Pittsburgh Pirates in a two-game total goal series, and it went as follows. Game 1, Montreal won 3-1 to have a 3-1 goal series lead, and then in Game 2, it was actually a 3-3 tie, but of course, 2-game total goal series, and Montreal win 6-4. Montreal would go on to play Ottawa in another 2-game total goal series. Just like this, Game 1 was a tie, 1-1, so winner takes all in Game 2. Montreal won a barn burner, 1-0, so they would go on in just their second season in the league to host or to play for the Stanley Cup, and they would play the WCHL, Western Canada Hockey League winners, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Victoria Cougars. So for this is kind of interesting because it wasn't the WCHL anymore, as I said in other videos. This season it was actually rebranded as the Western Hockey League, WHL. I'm sure you've heard of the WHL before, for the CHL, if you're familiar with that. Basically because one of their teams moved from Canada into, I think, Portland and became the Rosebuds. So they changed the name to WHL, so Canada wasn't in the name. There you go. Now let's talk about the Stanley Cup as the NHL looked for redemption. After last year where the Canadians lost to the Cougars, first time in NHL history, they lost the Stanley Cup to another team of another league. So they wanted redemption. Game 1 went as follows: 3-0 Maroons to take a 1-0 series lead. Game 2, 3-0 Montreal again, take a 2-0 series lead. Game 3, Victoria won 3-2 to make things interesting. 2-1, Montreal still had their favor there. And then in Game 4, Montreal won 2-0 to win the series and to win the Stanley Cup. Although I will say this was bittersweet because this is the 9th season in NHL history, and it would be the last time ever that the NHL would play another league for the Stanley Cup, as the WHL would fold in 1926. So having said that, bittersweet moment, but good for the NHL to finish it out back on top, to show that they were able to be the best league in the world. And of course, we will continue on in the other parts of the series, but also stick around for those. Please make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go off all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.